Good afternoon. I'm Karin Sipido, Editor-in-Chief for Cardiovascular Research. It is my pleasure to welcome here today Professor Sabine Steffens from the University of Munich's Department of Cardiovascular Sciences. She will receive today the Outstanding Achievement Award of the ESC Council of Basic Cardiovascular Sciences. The award honors a young basic researcher who has contributed outstanding achievements to the field and who is at an early stage of the career. Therefore, it will be of great interest to hear by young scientists how her career developed. I welcome also Professor Konstantinos Stellos from the Young Scientists of Tomorrow, who is a leading member of the group. Please, Professor Stellos.
Thank you very much, Professor Sipido. I would like also to welcome Professor Steffens today. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for this very prestigious award that we are going to receive today. And as a member of the young community of the European Society of Cardiology, of the Scientists of Tomorrow, it will be very interesting to hear from you something about your career pathway. So my first question that I would like to state today is when did you decide to become a scientist, and what was your main motivation at that time?
So thank you so much. I would first of all like to take the opportunity to thank the ESC for selecting me for this prestigious award, and I'm very honored given this list of well-known names in the cardiovascular field that received the prize before. So I'm really honored to be part of that, to become part of that list. To come to your question, I was always curious and interested in science, so already at school, but when I decided to study biology, I didn't really envision to become a university professor to continue. I was just lucky and things evolved well. Things turned well, so there's no specific starting point, I would say.
And please, it will be nice to hear from you. How did you realize your dreams? What kind of challenges did you face in your journey from PhD student to professor in the University of Munich?
Quite, interesting way, and a lot of changes. I moved a lot, and after my master, I went to a different city to do my PhD, and I thought that it's always a good experience to move forward and to go to a different lab and learn new things. I went also for a short postdoctoral time in the US, and then back again I decided to follow François Mach's group in Geneva and to start working in cardiology because I was quite impressed about his milestone work he did with Peter Libby when he was a postdoc there on inflammation in atherosclerosis, and also when he came back to Geneva, when he started his own group, he did some landmark work on statins as immunomodulators. So I had two nice projects when I started my postdoc in cardiology, and I was we were able to publish that well. So the University of Geneva gave me a position where I was able to develop my own small research group and apply for my own funds. That was nice. Fortunately, it was not a tenured position, and I realized that you have to move on to go again to a new place to become recognized as an independent researcher, because grant agency, they wouldn't recognize that if you would always stay with your mentor where you evolved when you become a group leader. So then I contacted people that I knew on conferences. I think it was on FCVB meetings when I started to ask and tell people that I would like to move perhaps to Germany for a position. So, and I met Christian Weber, which I knew before. And it turned out that he had an open position. So I moved there. I started, I restarted my group. So I went on my own, and it took me quite some while. Now I'm 3.5 years in Munich, and it starts to get productive. Also mouse lines and all this takes some time to start up. But it's a really nice environment, which I really like and appreciate, to collaborate with people at the institute and also in Munich, and even in Germany the network is quite well.
Which discoveries did you make that you are particularly excited about?
Well, when I started my postdoc in Geneva, we had some exciting work, perhaps also a bit controversial, on therapeutic effects of cannabis, medical cannabis for treating atherosclerosis. But that was also an interesting starting point for my own research line on the role of the endocannabinoid system in cardiovascular disease, which I'm still working on with my group. We see that it also affects leukocyte recruitment, mobilization. But when considering anti-inflammatory therapies, or perhaps also cannabis-based medicine for targeting inflammatory cells, we thought of, first of all, we would like to understand what these immune cells are doing, such as the neutrophils. And that's was the point of studying what neutrophils are possibly doing, not only in the acute phase after an MI, but also in the healing phase. And there we had some very interesting unexpected findings that are really important also for myocardial healing. So we should perhaps better rethink that when we think of anti-inflammatory therapies for preventing ischemia-reperfusion injury.
In your view, what is the evolution in this field?
So as I just mentioned, I don't think we should really use a broad anti-inflammatory therapy to completely block inflammation. Inflammation is also important at a certain point to promote wound healing. So we should rather focus on perhaps mediators, perhaps endogenous mediators, resolving factors which are able to resolve inflammation and to promote a well-regulated healing process. And also an interesting field now evolving is coming up from omics-like approaches, like proteins or perhaps lipids, which may be discovered, which might play a role and may help to promote cardiac healing after myocardial infarction.
Can you please tell us a little bit more about your future scientific plans?
Well, one point which I would like to continue to be active is the ESC. I'm a fellow of the ESC, and proposing science sessions, basic science sessions to the meetings, and contribute actively. And I have been, for the last 4 years, I have been a nucleus member of the working group of atherosclerosis and vascular biology. It was quite interesting also for networking and to participate in position papers and meeting experts in the field. And this is an interesting area where I try to stay more active. And scientifically, I would like to try to collaborate in terms of moving from the really mouse model to a perhaps more human like relevant model, like a large animal model, to try to translate our results that we have in a mouse model to a more clinically relevant situation.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, can you give a few tips to young researchers who want to establish themselves in academia?
Oh, that's something I like to do. I'm also mentoring young students and also more advanced scientists. That's a quite good advice. Find yourself a good mentor. It's not necessarily your PI who you're working directly with, but somebody close by, perhaps not somebody which is really competing for the same position, but in your area, and people that you like to talk to about your science to advance that. And don't be afraid to collaborate with people and to share your expertise. that's helping to advance your science. And don't be afraid of going to present your work and receiving feedback. I know that for my students, they are often not so comfortable in presenting data, and feedback is rather meant to, they have to learn that feedback is also, or questions are thought to improve your work, and don't take that as a criticism of your work. And do perhaps some networking, go to conferences, small meetings.
Thank you very much, Professor Steffens. This is an important advice for our members of the Scientists of Tomorrow. At this point, I would like again to congratulate you for this very prestigious award.
Thanks.